SendBuddy 2.0 review by user. In this review of SendBuddy 2 by user, we're going to talk about the good and the bad of the new SendBuddy 2.0 by Joshua Zamora coming out October 15th. I was originally one of the users of SendBuddy when it first came out a few years ago, and so we're going to cover a little bit of the history first, and then we'll go into both the good and the bad of the new SendBuddy. Originally, SendBuddy was a product that came out where users could go in, put their links in, and if they had properties, they would tie them in there, and then everybody would go in and do this manually, and then you could go in each day and click on these links and you would get credits. It was a credit-based system of sharing Facebook likes, Facebook shares, Google Plus ones, tweets, YouTube views. And so the whole thing was something you had to spend some time doing manually, or if you're one of the people that just spent money, then you could actually buy credits every month and let the other people that were actually doing the work trying to get credits do all the work. And so what actually happened was the people that were doing the work stopped doing the work less and less and less until they weren't doing it at all. And so the whole system and concept kind of fell apart because people got tired of spending all the work, and then the other people were just buying credits. And so it eventually got to where it wasn't working at all, especially since the point of when Google dropped the Google Plus. And so from there, it kind of fell apart. And basically, today, they've actually made some changes that make it viable again and usable. Let's go over what those were a little bit. One of the main things is that they've developed a one-click auto-sharing system. In other words, you won't have to go in and do the work. You'll click this auto-sharing system and save it, and then each day the accounts you've put in there will automatically do the work for you, and so you'll never have to go in and do this. So it's actually developed an automated system of the accounts in SendBuddy to basically putting other people's content on those accounts. So you want to be careful on what accounts you put in there and make sure they're accounts that you don't mind losing. Because one of the things that's happening, and let me talk about this, because again, it's a credit-based system. As you can see, I've got over 5,000 credits. And one of the things since I got SendBuddy 2, basically I put a number of accounts in there. I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm making over 500 credits a day, or averaging over 500 credits a day from content being put on my properties that I put in there. Okay, so that's one of the things that's going on right now, is that those properties are being heavily used, and there's no qualifying what content goes on your property. So any type of content can go on there. So there's no niche relationship whatsoever. And then let's take a little more look here. You can get Facebook likes, shares, real tweets, and I'll show you social bookmarks, web posts, supposedly YouTube views, and more. But there's a couple of other features that have gone into this new system, and one of them is what they call the one-click account creation. And here again is another part of the system that is a little bit flawed. In the one-click account creation tool, which actually came with SendLab when it came out number of weeks ago, and it's basically you got to put in you got to put in Gmail accounts was the first part, and they found that that had so many flaws. You had to go through like 4 or 5 different steps to try and get the Gmail account to successfully get connected in there. If you were lucky, you got some in there, but it was very, very hard. And then they came up with another way to do it through GMX emails. Well, the thing I've run into is I got the first GMX email in there, but then GMX, after I try to get another account, I've never been able to because it keeps showing an error in GMX. So I'm assuming that you're probably going to need proxies to keep making the GMX accounts, which is a problem for a number of people, I'm sure. But so the one-click account creation, I was successfully able to get one GMX account set up and create a number of these accounts, and I'll show you in a little bit. But it's still not all that great, and it still has a little bit of a flaw. Hopefully they'll work it out as time goes on, but it's not the best. And then they have what they call one-click content creation, which is just basically the same content over and over and over. So if you click on it, you're getting whatever category you select, and it's the same that everybody will get. And so it's not really the best content to be filling it out. So we'll go over that over here. Let's go over and take a look, and I'll show you some of the things. This is what is showing up on my dashboard as the number of shares, which seems kind of odd. When I put this in, let's go down here, I'll show you. This is where you put your campaign, or you have your campaign. So you go here, and here's the campaign I put in, and here's where you would add another campaign. Basically, I put in 100 limit and 100 daily limit, okay, because I wasn't really wanting to exceed the 100 limit. And I don't know how their system works, but it seems kind of strange. It's saying 0 users and 0 times on the 100 daily limit, but on the total limit, it was 28 users shared 277 times. And I'll show you, I had to pause it rather quickly. I think it was within an hour because it was just burning through, I think it was maybe over 200 credits. So let's go look, and I'll show you what happens. Here's the what's going on is you get different links from different people, obviously, and some people have, you can see Facebook, Pearl-Trees, Evernote, Site, Jot, and a number of these are really good, but if you'll take a close look here, some of these have bit.ly links, which one of the things I've seen over the years, and I've been doing this a long time, is that bit.ly links are really considered spam links by Google, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't show a spam score, it's still considered a spam link by Google. And every time I've ever in the past used bit.ly links, it always drops my rankings. It always tanks them. And so one of the things that you're going to see here is not only are we getting everybody's content going onto these sites, which makes it look spammy, so there's no niche relationship, but we're also getting a rather bad link in there with bit.ly links. And so that's one of bit.ly links. And so that's one of the things that's happening. And as you can see, there's quite a number of links that went in here. When I pulled them out and looked, I actually counted 259, which to me far exceeds the 100 limit I put in there. And that's why I had over 200 credits come out. So their actual system of counting doesn't seem to be accurate. And so if you're going to put information in there for a campaign, let's go back over here, this isn't going to hold up, or at least from what I've seen. They're just running them through there as fast as they can, and you could rack up 1,000 in a day if you're not careful. So let me show you what they're calling targets, which is really just the accounts I've had. SynLab, and so those are all my accounts that are in there. But these are the accounts that I've actually chosen to that were made, and I was able to get these made through GMX, and so some of these I actually had previously too, but some of these are the ones made by GMX. So that's what you're showing, and here's another, really just the same thing, but you can edit or delete these accounts out of SynBuddy, and so basically you have a number of different types of accounts, and I'll show you all that in a minute. But here's where we would in the past show in and click on these and do all that menu, which you no longer have to do, because you would click this button right here and set this up to save, so that you will and hopefully, I think it would be wise for you to put a daily limit in here. I'm not sure they're going to follow it, because they didn't follow the limits I put in here when I set the other stuff up. So I'm going to just close this, and we'll go back and show you what a campaign would look like by clicking here. You have to name it and put your URL in here. Now, the thing with these links is I would definitely not use these directly to a money site or your main site. I would definitely not even do them on a tier 1 link. So you're probably looking at least tier 2, preferably maybe a tier 3 link for you to use these. Although some of these are actually quality links or quality sites, the way we're actually using them in SynBuddy makes them a little bit more spammy, and so that's going to run into problems if you're putting them directly to your site or to tier 2. It's not going to do the best for you. So you select a category, put your keywords in, select a category. They have a drop-down list of a number of things, so you can select that, and then put in your total limit. Now, this is where I put in the limit number of shares to receive on this URL, and they far exceeded that. And if I hadn't paused it, it would have just kept going. I don't think their limit or stop is working. And here's the daily limit where you put it in. But here's where you would actually do what they call the content generator to these 3 different parts of the whole system. You would click on whatever category you want, and if you've got anything related to what you're looking for, then you'd select it, obviously. But it's just going to be the same basic content for everybody that selects that. So and like I said, it's not an easy. I'm not looking for acid reflux. Let's see. We'll try to fit this in. And so you can see, you would click the generate content here, and it will fill it out on these 3 things. Let me show you what they are before we do that. Here you would have, in this one, your blog stuff. You would put in a title and then some content tags and a video URL. If you don't put one in, that'll generate one for you from some related video. Then you have social. In this case, you don't even get a title, you just put in content. And then bookmarks, where again you put in another title and the content tags. Now, if you want to send this and you have the SynLab, you click this link here, and it will send it over to your SynLab account. And once you've got all this filled out, you simply hit add, and that takes us, like I said, back to our original campaign setup. And so that's the simplicity of it. But I would actually recommend, if you're going to use this, and I think it can be useful, but I would put my own content in here, okay? Or spin the content they give you, and it's most likely not going to relate to what you're doing in the first place. So let's go look at my, come on. So like I said, I paused this one, and we saw the links, but we can actually go over here and take a look at what I set up here so you can see for yourself. I put in 100 here and 100 here, and they far exceeded that are exceeded that, and there's my title, my content, all that stuff that I put in there, and then I simply hit add, and if you want to change it, you can come in and update it. Okay, so basically that's what's going on. Is it's a way to get automated backlinks, and there are, I would consider, reasonably good for what they're doing here, but not for definitely not for tier 1, tier 2, directly to your site especially. So I would really look at tier 3 and beyond, maybe tier 2 if you really want to push it. But you're getting these kind of links in there. Now, where you would actually get, let me show you. If we look at this whole thing, the actual funnel and the prices. But here's your SendBuddy front end, the monthly, and then they actually have an indexer platform that they're talking about. When you set up your campaign, you click on that. It's a one-time fee thing. But they have SendLab is the one I was talking about, and this is where you would actually have your own accounts, and nobody else would be putting content on it. This is the one I think is really better, and if you would use those possibly against your tier 1 links and even tier 2s. You can do a lot with this SendLab, and it is your 4th OTO. This is the Video Spy Agency, which is your 3rd, and the Video Chief. Not really necessary for what you're trying to do here, but basically the agency front end, and then here's where you would set up if you want to have monthly credits. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. They just start you on a $1 trial for the first month, and then I don't know what their actual fee is because I'm not set up on that. And then their indexer is probably worth it. But the SendLab is the one that's actually going to be better for any purpose that you want to use it for, because then you're the only one using those accounts in there, and you can specify what those accounts are used for, set them up into groups, and use them for different niches and stuff. And so it works really well. But basically that is what SendBuddy is. It's a way to get backlinks that are automated, and if you're looking for something that can give you automated backlinks, this can do it, but I would use it at least on tier 2 or lower, not anything directly to your sites or to tier 1. It's not that great of links to be used that direction, as we saw that these links, there's just way too many Bitly links in there, and then they're all being utilized for everybody's content, so there's nothing, but it makes any of these accounts really look spammy, because they're maybe putting up 20, 30, 40 posts a day on these accounts, so those accounts are going to burn out eventually if they're left to doing that. And so I would recommend putting daily limits in there, and which will reduce your amounts of credits as you can get in a day, but you'll preserve those accounts a lot longer in there. But there's some really good links if they just weren't spamming so heavily to everything with their automated system. It actually puts things in a little bit of jeopardy, and so you could probably lose these accounts that you have in here. If you're not careful. And I think that's the real danger of this. So don't put any accounts that you want to keep into this system and turn them on, which was over here in your accounts. You can set that up and turn them on down. And that was in the part, I guess, the targets, where we actually put them on. So this is where you would set them up and share them by clicking in here. And so when you get down to them, that's the ones I've set up, like Skyrock and MySpace, SiteJot, ELO, those kind of accounts, Instapaper, Papley, Evernote. See, I really like Evernote, Instapaper, and some of these accounts that are in here. It's just the way they're being utilized. They're becoming too spammy. And so that's going to cause you problems. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you are interested in it, please click the link below my video and get your copy of SendBuddy 2.0. I hope you enjoyed this SendBuddy 2.0 review by user. Like I said, I've been around this business a long time, and I didn't want to give a review that was just all fluff and not tell you the downsides to this. So I hope that you paid attention, because this is the review that nobody else is going to give, and I hope you pay attention to what I said in here, because if you don't, you could easily lose not only your accounts that are in here, but you could to your site or your tier ones. And so thanks for watching. Pick up your copy by clicking the link below. I hope you enjoyed SendBuddy 2.0 review by user, review of SendBuddy 2 by the user. Click the link below.